Alright, in this video we are going to do the first three problems in our estimating sums and differences practice. So number one, we have 87 minus 29. Now estimating when we are, or rounding, when we're doing subtraction is really helpful because we don't have to regroup or borrow. If I was to do this normally, I would have to say, okay, since 7 is smaller than 9, I can't subtract 7 from 9, or 9 from 7, excuse me. I can't subtract 9 from 7, so I've got to borrow from the 8, regroup. 17 minus 9 gives me 8. 7 minus 2 gives me 5. Now that didn't take me a big long time, but if I said, okay, if I want to estimate this, I'm going to round to the tenths place, or to the tens place, excuse me, on both of these. So I'm going to look at, for this one, I'm going to look at the 7. So because 7 is 5 or more, the 8 would become a 9, so I'd have 90. Here, because the 9 is 5 or more, my 2 becomes a 3. And so I end up with 90 minus 30 gives me 60. Well, that's pretty quick. There was no regrouping as far as, there was pretty quick as far as the actual subtraction. Now, if you're new to estimating, it may take you a second to go, wait, 5 or more, raise the score, 4 or less, let it rest. And that's okay, but once you get faster at estimating, you're going to be able to do these really quickly. And then you don't have to worry about making, and this is the important part, you don't have to worry about making an error as you are trying to borrow and regroup. All right, because the subtraction or the addition or division or multiplication or whatever you're doing becomes so much easier. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is 34 minus 33. Now this one is an interesting one because obviously the answer is 1, and you can probably look at that pretty easily and just do the mental math on it. But I still want you to go through the process of estimating. All right, so we're going to round to the tens. We're taking a look at the ones on both. So 4 less, let it rest. So that's going to be 30. 4 less, let it rest. That's also going to be 30. So I get 30 minus 30 is 0. Now you might think, but Mr. Beckwith, this was so easy. And yes, it was. But if there had been more digits behind this, it might have gotten a little bit messier. Okay? So 30 minus 30, still easier than 34 minus 33. Not much easier, but still easier. All right, let's take a look at number 3. I'm sorry, I had that as number 1 again. I forgot to erase that. All right, so number 3, we've got 84 minus 32. So again, we're going to round to the tens place, circling the ones place because that's what we're going to look at to see what we're going to do. 4 less, let it rest, so I'm not going to change my tens place. So 84, we're going to estimate or round that to 80. 32, because the 2 is 4 or less, I'm going to let it rest, so 3 stays 3. So 32 rounds to 30. 80 minus 30, 50. Now if I'd gone through this, because I didn't have to regroup, I probably could have done this relatively quickly. 4 minus 2 is 2. 8 minus 3 is 5. I could have gone through that process, but this is still going to be faster, especially when you get fast at estimating and rounding. It's going to be really quick to do these. All right. Normally, I just do the first 3, but since this is one of our first practice sets, I'm going to do one more. So number 4, 46 plus 55. Now this is a great example of where estimating can make our jobs a lot easier. All right, so I'm going to do this backwards. I'm actually going to do the estimating first, and then let's go back and look at the problem. All right, so 46, because the 6 is 5 or more, I'm going to make the 4 a 5, so that would round to 50. Remember, we're rounding to the tens place. For 55, because the 5 is 5 or more, I'm going to round up, so 55 rounds up to 60. So we get 50 plus 60 gives us 110. 0 plus 0 is 0, 5 plus 6 is 11. All right, if I'd gone through this, I'm going to have to carry. Now you might think, oh, well, that's not a big deal, but sometimes when we carry, especially if we make our carry marks really little, we might forget about it, especially if someone next to us starts talking to us, or maybe there's a loud noise in the classroom, or maybe the bell goes off, or maybe an announcement, or the phone rings. When you're doing a math problem, especially if it's multiple steps, distractions really can cause you problems. So it's better to stay focused if you can, and estimating helps you speed up your process so you don't get off track. All right, so 6 plus 5 gives me 11, carry my 1, and then 1 plus 4 plus 5 is 10, so I get 101. Now that's a little bit of a difference. I mean, there's a little bit of difference there, but again, estimating or rounding means we're just trying to get close. It doesn't need to be exact. We're just trying to get close.